Okay, I think it should be streaming. You guys, I have my nifty iPad here. This is going to help me get through all of this. Okay, just making sure I'm fixing all of the mishaps because it's the first show. What would the first show be without some type of technological situations? But anyways, we are now streaming live on my Facebook, on my YouTube. Um, Join the discussion. If you are on, make sure to comment, make sure to show some love. As I was saying, for all the new viewers, my name is Jima. This is Jima's Place. This is a place to unwind your Monday evenings into fruitful conversations, good vibes, and just a place for respect. Reasonable minds are going to differ. We all come from different backgrounds, have been instilled with various values, and naturally we have different brains. We are all different people. No one person is the same, even identical twins. So, with that being said, we can disagree to agree on these topics. We can keep it civil and have a good time. Today's topic is dating outside of your own, whether that be dating outside of your race, your nationality, your um, tribe, anything like that. Um, you're going to want to join this discussion to give us your thoughts on that because I would love, love, love to see. Hi, Bernice. Hi, Jay. Oh my gosh, I see everybody's comments. Okay, so as I was saying, I am a Liberian born in Grand Cape Mount County. Well, I wasn't born there, but I'm from there. I was born in Liberia, in the city. But my husband is Ghanaian. So I have a firsthand knowledge of what it is to date outside of my nationality. And I will start by saying that I love it. A lot of people might be uncomfortable with it, but that is between them and their God or whoever they believe in. Because as for me and my God and my partner, we love it over here. Um, and I will say there was never a point in my life where I was like, oh, I'm never going to date or marry someone that's black or someone that's Liberian or someone that's African or anything like that. I never walked through life like that. I just sort of went through it, and what worked was my Ghanaian husband. What did not work were the others. And that's okay. And that's kind of lens that I see it through when I see people dating outside of their own. You know, what may work for me may not work for the next person. Dating a black person of black race may work for me because I want to be able to share, certain cultural things as a black person. And specifically dating an African, I wanted to share certain cultural things that most Africans, have. And that worked out for me. And that may not work out for other people, and that's okay. But I do want to open up the floor and get your thoughts on how do you feel when you see an interracial couple, or how do you feel when one of your own, like a Liberian, may not be interested at all in even conversing with other Liberians in the terms of dating or marrying? How does that make you feel? Does it strike a nerve? I really want to know because I think at one point in my life, um, I definitely would have given a side eye, but not anymore. I think with maturity comes, just knowing better. And so let me know what you think, guys. Let me know your thoughts. And while I'm waiting for you guys to jump into the comments and let me know and start this fruitful discussion, I will talk about why I started this show. So in high school or growing up, I'm a lawyer by career path. I always knew I wanted to be a lawyer, but the other side of me also knew I wanted to be a talk show host. I really wanted to be Oprah. She really set the pace for like oh wow, a Black woman on camera who's confident, who's able to carry conversation, who's able to, just lead people into feeling safe and feeling able to tell her things. And so that has always been a part of me. Those of you that follow me on various social media platforms, you know that I have the Thrifty Lawyer, where I try to educate my community about just basic legal terms, legal things. And thrifted fashion because I love thrifting and I love getting cute. And so, yes, so that has been the start. And I was presented with this opportunity by a friend of my family, Joseph Sillett. He literally has this platform and offered it to me because he saw that, I'm someone in the community that enjoys talking, a little poise and can hold a nice conversation. And he offered this space to me, and I said, "Why not?" I had just started my YouTube channel, and so I was like, "Yeah, let me hop into the live studio." Hosting a discussion where we can have intellectual opinions and really respect that. And so, yeah, guys, that's how we got here. That's how I got here today. I'm very happy to be here. Very thankful for everyone who is tuning in, everyone who is supporting now and later to come. And so, yes, if you would like to come on the show, make sure to text the number on the screen so that I can send you the link so we can bring you on and have a fruitful discussion. And until you guys are ready to come on, I know some people are shy. That is okay. Let's go into, let's dig deeper into the topic. Um, I want to talk about, being from Liberia, there is something called tribalism. And being here in the United States, I think the synonymous aspect of that is colorism. In the Black community, there's sort of ongoing talks about, light skin versus dark skin. And then, in the Liberian context of tribes, there are people who do not want to date certain tribes or do not want to marry certain tribes because of maybe the historical context between the two tribes. And just overall stereotypes of that tribe, and just they might not be interested in that. But I want to talk about that and what that looks like. And I will dive more so into colorism because while I was born in Liberia, I lived majority of my life has been here in the US. And so I can't speak too much to the historical nuances of tribalism and things like that, but I can speak to colorism. As you can see, I would say I'm a dark skinned woman. I do not think I'm a light skinned woman. Um, and growing up, I have sisters who are also dark skinned. And we saw up front, it was bold that most of our male counterparts wanted to date women of fairer skin, lighter Black women. You would be at the summer camp and you see the light skinned girls got all the booze, whereas dark skinned girls, like the guys would like laugh with us and kiki and stuff, but we weren't the ones getting, secured, if you know what I mean. And just growing up, that was just something that you sort of got used to, of like, you take who's gonna get you, who likes you. And that was okay with me. Look, I may not be everybody's cup of tea, but I am somebody's cup of tea. But it still would leave sort of a little nick, like, dang, if I was two shades lighter, this boy that I have a crush on would look my way, or he would take me as more than just a friend, and that I think it is somewhat of a trauma that I think we can trace back to historical context of the culture here in the US. During slavery, the fairer skinned or lighter skinned blacks in the field were generally brought inside, you know. Um, I really feel like because of that, that has been we like the darker skinned people in the field, we like they saw that. Not we, I wasn't there. They saw that and you know they internalized that like coloristic, like, oh, we're darker, so we have to stay out here. The lighter people get to go in, get water, like it definitely started there, especially like that little like the nick that I spoke about of wow, like we're not good enough to go inside, because we're not this certain shade. Um, but yeah. Sorry, guys, just making sure to check my nifty iPad. But anyways, enough of me talking. I want to know you guys' thoughts. Bernice, are you still there? Let me know what your thoughts are about dating, outside of your own nationality, ethnicity. And Sando, do you have any comments on the matter? You've worked in the health field for years, and I'm sure you've seen a lot of different couples come through. Which ones did you see had a strong bond? Did it matter race, ethnicity, if they were the same? Did it matter or did it not? Were they just in love and supportive in general? I'm dying to know. Um, Sorry, guys. Okay. You guys, I'm waiting to see if anyone is which one of my viewers is bold enough to comment? Which one of my viewers is bold enough to join me? I definitely want this to be more discussion as opposed to lecturing. So if you are shy, it's okay. I understand. We can start in the comments. We can start in the comments and that's okay. So just let me know, guys. Let me know your thoughts. Hi Chanel. Oh my goodness. Yes, Chanel Boss and I on my Facebook, we were in broadcasting class together in high school, and I was an anchor, and we would switch. So like we got experience being anchors, we got experience like writing the show. Like we literally had a sheet of paper where you like drew what you wanted each part of your show to look like. And then we got to use the old school cameras to record things. Um, so shout out to my girl. She was there in the trenches. Jay, you say you're not dressed. Baby, put something on. Put something on. Okay, audio only is fine. Okay, so Brittany Gage said, yes, I think it matters why the person is dating outside of race, ethnicity, tribe. Absolutely, it does matter. And you also have to think about it. Are you prepared to handle what that different race or ethnicity or tribe, what comes with that? Because dating and marrying are two different things, y'all. Two different things. um Before you marry someone, you really have to like sit deeply with, okay, am I willing to endure or like appreciate this person's different way of living, different values, different things that just naturally are if you're of a different race or a different ethnicity or different tribe. For example, everybody in Grand Mount County cooks cassava leaf, but there are multiple tribes in Grand Mount County, and they might have different ways of cooking cassava leaf. And you really have to think for yourself, like, do I want to taste their cassava leaf for the rest of my life? Am I okay with eating believe in more serious terms, if you're dating somebody outside your race, it's also are you willing to deal and even nationality and tribe and race, are you willing to deal with the outside thoughts and the outside looks and whispers and some people will celebrate it. We love those people. But majority of the time dating or marrying outside of your own, like it generally can steer like, maybe not always like good vibes. And I think that's something we as people, we need to really work at. And I also think a part of the conversation that needs to be talked about is just because you're not dating your own or marrying your own, I do not think you should use that as an opportunity to bash your own. Does that make sense? Let me repeat. Um, I believe so. For example, I'll take myself. I am not married to a Liberian man. But you will rarely see me get anywhere and bash Liberian men. "Oh, I'm not dating or married to a Liberian man because of this, because of that." Like, derogatory way. It just didn't work out for me. That's it. I was not attracted to whoever was approaching me that was Liberian, or it just didn't work. It wasn't meant, and that's okay, but I just don't believe in, like, you know, bashing the other your own that you didn't end up with. I think that just gets really messy, and it's almost no need. So, I have a guest that I'm going to bring on. Give me just a second, guys. We have our first guest. I'm excited. Okay. Okay. I'm paying attention to the comments. If you guys are commenting or texting, I got my iPad. I'm reading it. I am doing all the things. Like I said, I don't want it to be a preaching. I want us to have some juicy discussion. So don't be shy, guys. Tell me what you really feel. Tell me what you really think. Mm, I'm curious. I'm curious. Okay. While I wait for my guest to come on, we're going to take a little break. Okay, I'm hearing that my poor. Okay, y'all, I'm getting new Wi-Fi that can handle my streaming. This show might be a little lagging. I'm so sorry, but next Monday we will be there. Okay. Thank you for your patience. Thank you for letting me know of the connection issues. I'm hoping stronger Wi-Fi so that our connection can be great between you and I. But in the meantime, I'm so sorry. Um, I'm going to mute myself for a second. Oh, hold on. Our guest is here. Okay. I'm going to, yep. All right. Are you ready? All right, everyone. Are we good? Jossie, are you good?
I can hear you. Can you hear me?
Yes, I can hear you.
Excellent.
All right.
Hi.
Okay. It sounds like we're lagging in sound. Is everybody else getting that?
Hmm. Let me see. How's this? Is it better or worse?
You're good. It might be me.
Okay, well, we'll just get through because that's how this goes. Um, I
Right.
didn't hear you. Could you say that again?
Okay, Jossie, I'm gonna let you comment on your thoughts about dating outside of your own. I will mute myself and you just let it.
Okay. Well, I was really looking forward to dialoguing with you. Before I give my comment, I want to say kudos and congratulations. This is super exciting. This is my, as we can say, my area. So I'm excited. I'm very proud of you to see what you are doing, and extremely happy to support. Um, and I love it. You came out swinging. This is actually a topic that is multifaceted and multi-layered. Um, so I will speak from my experience, and I'll speak from certain aspects of research. I was married, so to all those who are single, I am now single again. But I chose to not marry anyone African because of my experiences, not just like I didn't want to marry a Liberian. Growing up on the East Coast, specifically in the DMV, we have everybody. So I was like, I don't want nobody from Liberia because it would be related to me. I don't want nobody from. I mean, I went through all the countries. I didn't want anybody that was Caribbean or West Indian, just because of what I saw growing up. And in all honesty, there were good examples, but I feel like the not so great examples, and it wasn't even so like my elders, like the parents and their generation above. It was kind of like the ones that were just a little older than me. I saw the Playboy cousins and the Playgirl cousins and and I was just like, all of y'all got something wrong with you. So let me just go on this side. And I remember talking about tribalism. He's probably going to kill me. My father was not very pleased that I opted to marry, and I had married a man who was African American. He's African American and Dominican Cuban, right? But just he's like third generation. Just to say he African American, straight Chi-town, South Side, Chicago, DMV dude. And my dad was like, "Ugh, you bunny baby with American man?" And I was like, yeah. He loved him though, right? Like that's one of the things I love about my family. Everybody like accepted this was my choice. But there were comments made. And I have another sibling who we're similar in age, if you will, who opted to marry someone from the continent. And I noticed that there were differences in how, ooh, Tucky, I come and get in trouble. But there were differences, it's my truth. There were differences in how not just the reception, but maybe even the conversation would go. There was not ever lack of love or disrespect. I'm not saying that. But culturally, there were some things that, it was kind of like with the spouse I had, it was like, let me teach you culture versus my in law, where it was like, you understand culture because there were similarities. So it was interesting, not anything that was hard or bad. And then I know that as a parent, just being transparent, I told my children love is love, but my preference is that they stay with their own because there are a lot of things, and not only so much so your own tribally or
Mhm.
culturally, but stay with your own because they're just experiences that we have that as much as we may have allies, my experience has been that when the rubber has met the road, they
Mhm.
can't understand it. And then you're doing that much more work trying to help someone get that there was a look or there was
Mhm.
a comment. And it's like, it's not that serious. It very much is that serious. They
Yeah.
can't understand microaggressions because they've not had to live them.
Mhm.
And you have. So, whatever choices they make, they hopefully will wait and, you know, live their lives before they get to that place. But
Mhm.
whatever choices they make, just as my parents gave me the respect and freedom to make my own choices, I will do the same for them.
Mhm.
So that's all I'm gonna say, because you know me, I like to talk plenty. So let me have somebody else come on.
No, I do want to actually engage in dialogue because I love some of the points that you made. One, the most recent one, you said, you've told your children, like, love who you love, but hey, like, be prepared for what comes with stepping outside. And in that is there are certain things stepping outside of your own, they just won't necessarily understand or be able to grasp as much as they may want to. But you can go up, you come down, man. The person when I'm born in Liberia, or like, you know what I mean? If
Yeah, I
they
do.
were white, like, and you're black, like, there are certain things that maybe you might not deal with them directly, but they're white cousins or white aunties who did something, and they're like, oh no, like, babe, no, and you're like, I saw what I saw, like, you
Yeah,
know.
absolutely.
That's a
Absolutely.
real thing. That's a real thing. So I do love that you said that. I think it makes sense for you were intentional of choosing, like, yeah, I'm not going that route of, not going to a Liberian. Um, if I may ask, do you would you make that would you, if you were to make that decision today, would you have made a different decision?
Well, let me answer it like this. Because I am single again,
Hmm.
my decision is my prayer. My prayer is, may I have a partner who actually can understand. I would have made the same decision.
Hmm.
I
Hmm.
wouldn't change who I married for anything, even though there were some things that we could have done differently. The course was what it was, and it is no regrets, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
Now, as a single woman who has learned some things, who has experienced some things, I used to tell people all the good Liberians were related to me.
Mhm.
And part of that, we talk about trauma. I
Mhm.
remember we went to Minnesota for a wedding. I will never forget this. I
Minnesota,
think this
Minnesota.
girl, Minnesota, I tell you, yeah, little Liberia. But yeah, I went to Minnesota, Brooklyn Park
Mm.
for a wedding. And there was this
Mm.
young man who I'd had a crush on since I was like 6, maybe like 6, 7, maybe. And then we go to this wedding. I see him. So parents, they sent us to go in front of your grandma. Um.
Mhm.
So I see him. We talk. We link up. We talking. You know what I mean? I was like, all right, boom, Mac on.
Mm.
We get to this is like maybe like a Tuesday, Wednesday. You know what I mean? So by then, back in the day, we didn't move fast. We moved fast but steady, right? So it
Mhm.
was like, all right, boom, we knew each other. Like, yeah, we catching up, we hanging out. So come wedding day, Saturday, he's like dancing with me and he was like, I want to kiss you. And I was like, you want to kiss me? I'm not fast, so but okay. So then, like an hour or so later, my dad comes over. He was like, "Oh, I see you found your cousin."
Ooh.
I was so devastated.
Oh, the
Yeah,
pain. Oh my
it
God.
broke my heart. I said, "Never again,
Mm.
never again, never again."
Mm.
And so I think that was why. Now, this time around, if I do meet a Liberian, there are things, and there are things that, like I said, it wasn't just Liberians. I didn't want any African,
Mm.
period.
Mhm.
Right. Because I saw some things and my family, one of my cousins has a joke about me being a racist. I am not a racist. I just have preferences. So
You're not racist at all.
I am not. I keep trying to tell him, but I do have my preferences, and it's not even a color thing because people are listening. There's just a group of West Africans who I may have some strong thoughts about, and that's just that. So, so, um, but interestingly enough, that's who has been approaching me for years. And now that I'm single, like I had one call me from back east, was like, "Oh, I hear, you're not married, and I'm so sorry." I was like, "You're not sorry." He was like, "I'm not sorry," but and I was like, "Oh my gosh, like God,
Mhm.
please, like don't let this be." That's just a real prayer. I was like, "Don't let this be my portion for all the talk I've been
All
talking."
that like you was talking all them years.
I've been talking cash money, but I will say this. I am so much more open to
Mhm.
who as an individual more so than the where, if that
Mhm.
makes sense,
Mhm.
because we are individuals, and what I have found also, especially for those of us who grew up in the States, we have truly been like, I consider myself an OG code switcher. I
Mhm.
consider myself
Mhm.
like an OG multiculturalist. We've had to live our cultures. We were groomed in strict Liberian households. Like we
Mhm.
eat, we talk, we dress.
Mhm.
Um, the dialects, even like that's just the upbringing, which I'm grateful for and I admire. However, when I'm outside the house, I have to talk like this, right? I had to learn how to assimilate for survival, if nothing else.
Right.
Um,
Right.
yeah. So what I've come to respect is that we all have various cultures, we come from various backgrounds, but I recognize that all these things that come into who I am, I have to look at an individual and take that into account as to what they have gone through and what makes them who they are.
Mhm.
And that's just a portion of who they are, because I do think it contributes to us, but it does not mean like
Mhm.
this is you're this way due to the stereotypes or even my own experience. Because you
Mhm.
are from this place, you are this way.
Yeah. Yeah. Okay, fair point. I definitely want to touch on the hesitance to date Liberian men because of our big family. So Jossie is my big cousin, y'all. Like my fave. Okay, I can go to her about anything, no shame, no nothing. She's gonna give it to me straight. We're gonna have amazing conversation. Um, but yes, our family is huge, and Lord knows I would be heartbroken and traumatized as well if I kissed someone who I didn't know was my cousin. So I completely understand from that day on to be like, yeah, absolutely. I don't even want to run the risk.
No,
I don't even want to taste. No part of that.
none.
But I'm happy to know that with the life changes and things that where you are now is more open minded and still with preferences, of course. um,
Absolutely.
I am happy to hear that there's space for that. Um, my next question that I want to ask you, I don't know if you will speak on it. I'm going to also open this to everybody watching. Is what about dating outside of your age group? And I strictly mean older. I don't mean younger, okay? Because I do not promote any type of illegal activities, okay? But yes, as far as dating outside of your age group, what are your thoughts on that? Are you into?
Well, I think for me, with age has come some wisdom, and
Mhm,
I will say I don't like my. Mm, this might sound. I'm very skeptical of my age mates
mm,
because in fact, women do mature faster than men.
mhm,
And what I have come to find, even like I've met men who are 3 years older than I am. That's like been like a standard number for me. I was like, that's old enough. And
mhm,
yeah, even though they have it going on or whatever, nah, bro, like you still, why are we still on this? Like, why is this still where your mindset is?
mhm,
So for me, anybody my age, my man, you better come with strong hand. Like you definitely got to step correctly. So to answer your question, absolutely, I'm open to. I don't think I've ever dated my age. Everyone's
Mm-hmm.
always been, hmm, hmm, yeah. I've always gone up. Like three has been my number.
Okay.
Interestingly,
Oh,
yeah. Like I was a freshman, I was dating a senior, and I dated my classmate once,
mm,
the Miss. But he's still older than I am.
mm-hmm.
By a couple of years. He's 2 years older than me. But yeah, one of the things that I came to, this is like a whole nother show. What I came to learn having been on the other side, I call it the other side, the other single.
Mm-hmm.
Um, I'm not a single woman who's been unmarried. I've lived a married life. Love it. Marriage is beautiful. All who
Mm-hmm.
want to do it, go for it. It's amazing.
Mm-hmm.
Um, on the other side, though, the other single, I need somebody that's potented. There are just things that at this nice age that I am at this point, I
Mm-hmm.
don't have the wherewithal to put into, I'm fine to support, to love, but we have to have a certain level of maturity. And what I have
Mm-hmm.
found, um from my and it's interesting because there's some men, I never dealt with them romantically, but I've always seen how they are, even with me in business. There's one gentleman who he is, people call him a silver fox. He's very oh my gosh, he's
Mm-hmm.
very he's very, about health and fitness, and
Mm-hmm.
he's like 70 years old.
Oh,
Yeah, I would talk to him all day.
you,
I
are you into that?
Girl, listen, he more fit, tone, and can be more and is more active
Mm-hmm.
than 40, 30, and 40-year olds.
Mm-hmm.
Absolutely. So, for what I know, yeah, knowing what I know,
Mm-hmm.
absolutely.
Absolutely.
Um,
Okay.
but I think on the other side of it is, and I'm gonna share this. Someone shared this with me. She said she and her husband are like almost 15 years age difference, him being
Mm-hmm.
older. He's retired. She works part-time because she wants to work. And she actually, it's interesting, I met her and she was saying this to encourage me. We are kind of talking about, having experienced divorce, what that feels like, what it looks like, the children, all those aspects of things. And then she says to me, she's like, yeah, he's like almost 15 years older than me. I said, oh, really? And she said, yeah. And not only that, but they're also different race. So that was like the whole conversation was, which, oh, yeah, it was, we had a juicy conversation.
Mm-hmm.
And she made me consider, I won't lie, she made me consider dating outside of my race, which
Ooh.
prior to that conversation, I never would have. But she
Yeah.
said something to me about an older man, and she said they're more patient because they've lived.
Ooh.
So the things that we would get caught up in, they've already lived it 9 times out of 10. And so they know how to help you
Yeah.
maneuver through that. And
Yeah.
she's like, so there's a different level of patience that you're going to encounter. She said
Mm,
there's a different level of annoyance that you'll encounter too, but they're not
right.
going to be so annoyed with the simple things that you would find that the most of our age mates are annoyed with. And
Mm-hmm.
I was like, yo, when she said that, I thought about the silver fox. And I'm like, yeah,
Mm-hmm.
because working with him and working with other older gentlemen who are like in their 60s and 50s,
Yeah.
um, not saying like, I am that girl. I've had men of all ages like try to talk to me, but what
Mm-hmm.
I've realized in dealing with them, and most of it is just in business,
Mm-hmm.
their level of patience, I realized like she's right. They're different. Like they're more patient. Like they don't really care about the small, they don't sweat it. And
Mm-hmm.
it's just different. Their approach to things was always different. So I was like, yeah, I need to go ahead and find me a little somebody who in the 60s and 70s.
Hey, hey, you never know till you try, I guess. And you were in that space to definitely try it out. So I recommend it. I think you should tap in, sis.
We'll see. We'll see. They don't look like sexy grandpa. I don't know.
Oh yeah, yeah. That's a
I,
that's a good
that's the
one.
whole. I got to get out of the house first,
Yeah.
and
Yes, you do.
y'all
Yes.
know I'm not doing that. So.
Okay. Well, thank you so much, Jossie, for joining us and bringing us your amazing insight, your amazing experience with this topic. And I just want to thank you, thank you, thank you for your support. Thank you for adding the pizzazz to the show that I needed on this first day. So yeah, thank you, cuz.
You are welcome. I'm excited. Talk to you soon.
All right, bye bye. Okay, guys. So while Jossie and I were talking, I got an anonymous text that, to add on to the discussion of dating outside of your own. It says, I can't date anyone who doesn't understand what it means to be Black. There will always be a gap that will never be fixed. There's too much separation when it comes to Black and white specifically. They pity rather than relate, my personal opinion. So I want to dig into that. I do think that our world um, is very polarized. Um, Black and white, like the issues that we're facing now. There were years where Black people were content with like the progression from the civil rights movement, and I think right now with the murders of George Floyd and all the things that have transpired with certain presidents and things of that nature. I think now more than ever, Black people are seeing like, dang, like, have y'all really liked us? Have y'all really like seen us as equals? And this is not all whites, obviously. I don't want to put that generalization out there because there's always going to be exceptions. There's always going to be outliers, things like that. But I want to say I think more Black people are seeing or feeling that perhaps the fight really is not over in terms of whether we are seen as equals, whether we are seen, like the pity aspect of like, oh, let me give you a job because you're Black and an immigrant and, things like that. Definitely that pity aspect. And in the dating realm, I have never dated a white person or someone outside of my race. So I can't personally speak to it, but I could see how there would be moments where you would feel like your white counterpart, maybe, or not even maybe not specifically them, but someone in their circle, in their close circle. Because if it's not the first white person in the circle, it's the third that still has those, feelings of like, oh, thank God we, got over slavery. Thank God you have rights. Like, that sort of like condescending microaggression. And that you might find that in your partner some way, somehow. And I think that would be a tough pill to swallow. So for those that, are in those interracial relationships, they some strong ones because, maybe even from the other perspective of a white person dating a Black person, they may feel like that Black person, like you're never like, if I feel like if I was dating a white person, as much as I love you, I'm never gonna stop letting you know of what white people have done. I, like, I'm sorry, I will never live that down with you. I love you. It wasn't you that did it, but like, unfortunately, your ancestors and your people now are still in the Congo doing what they're doing, exploiting African countries like the Congo and things like that, playing parts in political coups that are still crippling our continent of Africa. We saw what y'all did here in the United States. Like, I just feel like I don't know. Hence why I married someone of my own race. Okay, but yes, I did want to just bring that to the conversation, and I want to bring back, the topic of are y'all dating older people? Are you dating outside of your age group? Are you comfortable with that? What does that look like? Are you someone who, like I was speaking on colorism? Is your preference a lighter skinned man or woman? A lighter or a darker skinned man or woman? What does that look like? I mean, this might be a touchy subject, but I want to talk about these things. And I really appreciate how our conversation has been so respectful. Everybody has been so great. I really appreciate it. Y'all are the best audience ever. I did also get a follow up that sometimes white people dating outside of their race because it's exotic. Ooh, shaking the table. That's actually a big one because sometimes we know that some people do like to role play or like internalize that, like, oh, exotic black woman from another continent, you know, which is an interesting take. Okay, we have somebody said chocolate like that, Coco. I'm with you, girl. I'm with you when you're there. I'm with you. I I date in high school. I dated someone who was lighter complexioned, um, and that was as light as I would go. He wasn't even like light. But it's interesting that we're even having this conversation like that. But yeah, I have naturally always been attracted to darker skinned men. And it's not that I'm like, oh, I don't like light skins. I want a dark skin. It's just naturally what my eyes and what my like who I am as a person, that's just what it is. I have no real explanation. And maybe subconsciously, maybe I'm willing to hold myself accountable. Maybe because of what I endured as a darker toned woman, um, it's made me like I don't even look to light skins. You know what I mean? Like maybe like it's subconscious that I'm naturally attracted to darker toned black men because I was not seen as the attractive lighter skinned black woman. That's a little psychology for you guys, perhaps. Um, yes, and I'm not trying to be in the fetish zone. Yeah, I feel like that's a general scare. Is dating someone outside of your race and whether they view you as just a human, not like this exotic creature that they can like explore and do the like. Yeah, I would not. I would not want that. I would not want that at all. But yeah, some people like that though. To each his own. If you're into being somebody's fetish, baby, do what you gotta do, sis. Enjoy. Or sir, life is short. Life is short. Um, okay, guys, we are about 10 minutes away from our first show together being over. If you would like to come on and be a guest, please text the number on the screen or mention it in the comments. We'll bring you on. Again, I do want to thank Jossie for coming on. She really set the tone for the type of discussion that I want this to be. And I again appreciate you guys so much for being here and engaged. Um, very grateful. Very grateful. Okay. And while we're here, guys, I want to touch on something that Jossie had also said. There's a certain West African country that a lot of say my the people, the women in my close circles, we tend to like run the other way because we've had some traumatic experiences with these individuals. And I think that like my experience with someone from that country, I will not say the country, I will not speak on it personally because I don't want to ruffle too many feathers. But I think my experience in um, dating someone from that country, and of course, as I'm saying, this is the one person for me. Okay, I know everybody from the country ain't like that, but it was so painful that yeah, I wanted no parts. Um, and I also dated someone from a different region of Africa, southeastern, and I thought, oh, they're so different. Like, their ways are probably like, seemed more gentle and all this. Oh, Lord, Lord, did I come to learn. Never judge the book by its cover. It didn't work out there either. And thankfully, God led me to the West African country of where my husband is from, which is Ghana, which I had never even like met or interacted with a lot of people, a lot of men from Ghana, like a lot of Ghanaian men. So that was really interesting that I ended up marrying one. Like I never saw that in my stars. I never like I didn't grow up I did grow up in the African community and met Ghanaians, but I never thought I would have married one. But it turns out like, I knew what the cultural differences was going to be between me being a Liberian and my husband being Ghanaian. And, we talked about it and we just essentially agreed like, hey, whatever these differences are, we have to always remember at the center of that is us two. We love each other. We are each other's friends and partner. Like all the outside, because like I said, when we first started dating, there was a lot of like things that I was so naive to, that I was just like, oh wow, like this is what it is. But because of our relationship and our conversations, we realized like, hey, this is going to be hard. These are two different. While we're African and Black and from the West Coast, Liberians, I love my people. Like I love that we're so much fun. Like I love my parents. My parents they did a phenomenal job in allowing us to be raised in America and tap into American culture. You guys hear my tongue. I am speaking American English, right? But our parents created a space where we could also be authentically Liberian, and I'm so grateful for that. And our people, like when I lived in Minnesota, y'all, it brought so much joy to walk into a Walmart and hear a Liberian accent. Like it just warmed my heart so much. So while I may not be married to one, I still love my culture so much and love my people. And I love my husband's people. I had to learn, okay, these are the type of vibes, and how do you like assimilate into that, because you're marrying not just your husband, you're marrying his family, his people, and you have to learn how to maneuver through that. And sometimes it's exhausting. I will not lie to anybody. That is some of, like I said, that is where you have to sit with yourself. Like, is this something I'm willing to, appreciate and handle for the rest of my life with this person, or as long as I'm dating this person? And it can be exhausting of like, oh my goodness, like, don't eat necessarily the same food, or, the music is different, religious things are different. But at the end of the day, and I think this is what interracial couples or people marrying in different nationalities and ethnicities, this is what I would say to you. You and your partner have to be strong. You have to remember at the center is God and y'all, because I miss that. We don't do anything without God, um, in my household. Okay. Um, you have to remember it's us two. God brought us together. We have to stand strong against all the things good, bad, and ugly. So long as there comes a crack between you and your partner's, like, you know, entity, that's when things can go left field. And I don't want that for you guys. If you are choosing or not choosing, it just sort of happens that you date outside of your own, just, or marry, the person that you're dating is the person that you're dating. Stay strong with that person. Get to know that person. Get to know what means a lot to them because of their upbringing. And just remember, it's you two and God at the center, or whoever you believe in. But yes, that would be my biggest advice, to tie up today's discussion. We are 2 minutes away, and I will just wrap up by saying this is Jima's place. These are the types of discussions and vibes that you can expect on your Monday evenings if you tune in with me. Just, discussing things that we've all, maybe had experiences with or maybe not. Um, but I really want this to be a fun and intellectual space where we can discuss things and not be, angry at each other. There's so much going on in the world. Y'all saw what happened yesterday. I wasn't gonna talk about it, but the whole political climate of the United States is literally on fire. So we all need places to come and have community, and I really want this to be that. So again, I want to thank everybody who has commented, who has liked, who has told somebody, or just supported in any type of way. I really appreciate it. It's only up from here. I'm going to keep getting better. I'm going to keep coming with the juicy, delicious topics, and hopefully you guys keep engaging. You keep, telling other people, and I'm gonna get that Wi-Fi fixed. Okay, next Monday we're gonna be better. And that's what life is about, rising. Okay. So, anyways, thank you so much for tuning into Jima's Place. I appreciate you. I love you. Mwah. Cheers to first show done.